welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live.
Bailey Price Media, I like it.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live. Today, I got a special guest. You already know him. He's been on this channel several times, and I can't thank him enough for joining. Super Bowl champion quarterback Shaun King joins the show. Obviously, Shaun's a Tulane legend, Duke men's basketball fan, die hard. So he's super happy right now that the Blue Devils are in the Final Four. But we got a lot to talk about today. Deion Sanders signed a massive extension with Colorado, and the narrative across social media, across JB's show, I keep seeing is he doesn't deserve it, which I think is absolute blasphemy. So we're going to talk about that with Mr. King. We're also going to talk about the NCAA denying the joint spring game between Colorado and Syracuse. You also saw Joey McGuire and Texas Tech reach out to Prime. You saw Prime interested in going against Bill Belichick as well. Unfortunately, the NCAA, not caring assholes of America, have denied their request for joint spring games. We're going to discuss that. The Browns owners, the Haslams, saying they sounds like they made a mistake with Deshaun Watson. We're going to discuss that as well and so much more. But I'm not going to waste no further time. I know Mr. King's a busy man. And if you're watching, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army. I can't thank you guys all enough for joining and watching here on this fine Monday. Without further ado, let's go bring in our special guest, Super Bowl champion, Tulane legend, Shaun King. Shaun, what up, man? Happy Monday. How you doing?
I'm good, Bailey. How you doing, man?
Man, we're here. We in the building, man. No 0 to 60 this week, so we're going full go here this week on Bailey Price Media Live. We'll be going 5 days this week, and yeah, man, everything's good, man. I can't thank you enough for joining.
You are a natural, man. I see you.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And Shaun, we got to really break this down and discuss this because the narratives I'm seeing across social media about this first topic here are crazy to me. But let's go ahead and get into it. Shaun, Deion Sanders in Colorado agreed to a massive contract extension, 5 years, $54 million. I think this is a well-deserved contract extension that at least those who have been following the team really think that was going to happen. A lot of the narrative across social media is that Deion Sanders is leaving, going to the NFL, possibly the Cowboys was a big rumor this offseason. Now, Colorado, Deion Sanders and Rick George, the athletic director there, agree on a massive contract extension. Shaun, what are your thoughts on this, and do you think Deion Sanders deserves this contract extension?
100%. I mean, Colorado football was irrelevant 2 years ago.
True.
They were not a part of the national college football conversation in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Agreed.
Insert only one new piece. That's Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Now and I feel very comfortable saying this. If you look from tip to tip, coast to coast, like if you just encompass all of America, Colorado is probably the most talked about college football program across the board.
That's true.
In our country.
I agree with you.
So they went from being irrelevant to being the number one topic of conversation. Whether you support, whether you disagree, dislike, people in every sector, corner of this country still talked about Colorado football because of Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
That in and of itself has a value.
Yeah.
Not only the on-field results. Granted, they have not won or competed for a Big 12 championship, but they have won significantly more than Colorado had won previously to Deion arriving in the foreseeable past.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not going back to Darian Hagan and Eric Bieniemy and Cordell Stewart and Westbrook. I'm talking about the last 15 years of Colorado football.
Yeah,
Deion has upgraded on the field and off, and he deserved to get paid. And it's also now a deterrent for a bigger program that if they want Deion now, there's a significant buyout attached to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he deserved it. He earned it because I know Shade Poppy on the other show that I do, Jason Brown, he tried to say that the guy didn't earn it, but he deserved it, which is ludicrous. So Deion has done both, and he deserves this contract just for what he's done from the brand standpoint, and he's backed it up with on-the-field success.
Absolutely. And Shaun, I mean, I don't think people really understand. Colorado was 1-11 before he showed up. 1-11. They were not competing with anything. They were arguably the worst college football team in the country. Like, I don't think people really understand what Prime walked into. It's not like Dan Lanning walking in at Oregon and taking that job. It's a full rebuild here. And so I think that's the one thing that people really overlook when it comes to Prime. And he hasn't played the big game. First off, Colorado on the Big 12, you mentioned it on JB's show this morning. The Big 12 was down last season.
Yeah, it wasn't a big game.
Yeah, well, not at all, not on their schedule. Everyone who was projected to win the Big 12 ended up finishing at the bottom. Like, you go and Colorado played Oklahoma State the last game of the year and beat them 52-0, and Oklahoma State just won the damn conference. So that's my point. That's my biggest point of it. Another misconception I think people don't understand about Deion Sanders is people always say, "Oh, he doesn't like being in Boulder. He doesn't like living in Boulder. He doesn't like it there." Matt and I had Colorado athletic director Rick George on our show about 3 months ago. And we asked him about his future, Coach Prime's future in Colorado. And here's Rick George's comments then. And now, obviously, Prime signed an extension. But take a listen, Shaun.
I think there's a lot of people out there that, want to say, "Oh, he just jumping at Boulder and he's out of here." And Deion's not going anywhere. The guy's committed here. He's just getting started. And I feel really good about our relationship and his love of Boulder and our tradition here, and the community's embraced him back. And yeah, have he and I had conversations? Yes, we haven't gone into details about what an extension would look like, but we've certainly had conversations. We've had two.
So that was during Colorado's second bye week. And now Prime signs an extension with Colorado, $54 million, worth more than his entire NFL earnings. Crazy enough. But Shaun, what are your thoughts on Rick George's comments there? And fast forward to now, Prime signs the extension.
Well, for context, Deion's a country boy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his home in Texas is on a bunch of acreage.
Yep, that's
he
true.
has his own pond that he fishes out of. Like, he's a country boy. So Colorado is for a person that likes to be outside, that likes outdoor living.
Mm-hmm.
People that want to hike, see streams and lakes and, hear the birds chirp at night. So it's a fit from a lifestyle perspective. And listen, I'm not jumping off a cliff and saying that, and this is just me speculating, Deion has had any significant offer at the same level or above the level of where he currently has Colorado football. So I'm not saying that he's turned down Georgia or Alabama or one of these programs to stay in Boulder, but he's been great where his feet are at. And I think the AD, Rick George, understands that without Deion, they go back to irrelevance.
Yeah, that's a good point, Shaun.
So it makes sense. This is Deion's best option in the coaching profession right now. This is Colorado's probably only option.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that Deion has from his athletic director in the school is buy-in. That's, I think, the biggest thing. They gave Deion full autonomy. You see the staff that he's built up.
Why wouldn't you, Bailey?
That's my point.
Without Deion, Rick George is probably fired.
Yeah.
The way that program was headed,
yeah,
Deion done resurrect life, because football is the big dog.
Yeah.
You could be great at all Olympic sports, and football sucks. You one knock away from listen. Sorry, Mr. George, but we appreciate everything you've done for the university. We're gonna ask you to please walk outside, and you can come back and get all your stuff out your office after midnight. Like,
yeah.
So
no, that's a great point, Shaun.
Yeah, he owes it to him.
Absolutely. And before we move on, shout out to Brian Howell, the one who actually broke this story. We've had him on 0 to 60 as well, Matt and I. But some of Prime's incentives for his contract include 150,000 if the team wins 9 games, 100,000 after each additional win after 9 games, 150,000 if the team plays in the Big 12 championship game, 150,000 if the team is invited to a non-college football playoff bowl, 400,000 if the team appears in the conference championship or appears in the first round of the college football playoff. The list goes on and on. But Shaun, I think the biggest story of this, Deion does deserve it. I can't stand the narrative pushed on social media that he doesn't deserve it. Listening to JB talk about why he
shade Poppy.
JB is very slick. He would be a good attorney because he's very careful with his words. He says he doesn't deserve it, or he earned it, or whatever.
No, he said he deserves it, but he hasn't earned it.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I think
so
that's
he's not
overphrasing for him to throw a little shade. And,
right. That's his new name is Shade Poppy.
I love it. But nonetheless, Deion Sanders' size and a massive extension with Colorado. Shaun, I appreciate your insight there. Let's move forward here to something we've talked about extensively on the show, spring games. So now this has come out. The NCAA has denied the proposed spring game between Colorado and Syracuse. Obviously, you saw Deion Sanders and Fran Brown file paperwork with the NCAA trying to get a joint spring game and really change the narrative of this whole spring game where you're seeing several schools across college football cancel their spring games. This is another creative way that I thought would really revolutionize the spring game. I think coaches have really been trying to do this for a long time, but the NCAA, not carrying assholes of America, have striked again. And Shaun, before I get your take on this, I want to read the exact reason why the NCAA denied Colorado and Syracuse's request for the spring game. It says, the committee reviewed and provided feedback to the NCAA staff on a legislative relief waiver request to permit 2 FBS institutions to engage in a joint contact practice session, a joint non-contact practice session, and 11-11 scrimmage. The first reason, the timing of the request, noting most institutions have already planned their spring practice periods and some are at the end of or have completed their spring practice period. Okay. Number 2, the competitive and recruiting advantage gained by the applicant institutions if a waiver was approved to allow these institutions to engage in activities no other institutions are permitted to do. And 3, the potential academic impact associated with student athletes missing class time to participate in practice activities. That third one I think is a joke. But Shaun, what are your thoughts on the NCAA denying Colorado and Syracuse's request for a joint spring game? Go ahead.
So the devil's in the details. If you pull that sheet back up, Bailey, what's the first word that's said after review and provide feedback on legislative relief waiver? The committee review. It's about time we start putting some addresses on who's responsible for these decisions. See, the problem with the NCAA is there's no accountability partner because everything's committee this, board that, NCAA umbrella over it all.
Right.
Who's responsible for implementing NIL and transfer portal and not adjusting the current college football dates for adding incoming freshmen, opening the transfer portal? Like, they didn't think of this idea when they were involved in their NIL transfer. Who's on the committee?
I would love to know.
It's about time, NCAA, you start giving us some addresses. Because obviously you guys aren't good at your job, and I'm tired of them hiding behind committee.
Yeah, that's a great point, Shaun. We don't know who's the committee. We don't know who is behind the curtain making these decisions. We don't know who is really in power, and yet we see the reasons that they gave as to why. What are your thoughts on the reasons listed here as to why they said they denied this joint?
The timing of the request. The request is getting asked because you didn't have the foresight to think about this as a potential outcome of everything that you were doing NIL transfer portal. Second, the competitive and recruiting advantage gained by the applicant institutions if a waiver was approved. What kind of recruiting advantage is Syracuse and Colorado getting playing what you're trying to make collegiate sports anyway, which is professional sports?
Right. Yeah.
They do joint practices in the preseason all the time in the NFL. This is college football's version of the preseason, spring football.
Yeah.
So you're going to make it professional sports, then make it professional sports. Thirdly, the potential academic impact. Get the hell out of Dodge. The way you're currently set up, NCAA, a kid can transfer to a university in the summer, then be eligible again to transfer before the first semester ends. Yeah. So don't tell me that academic integrity plays a role in any of the major decisions that they have made. That's why we got to start putting the address on committee. I'm tired of this committee continuing to make money because they get paid. This is a voluntary position, right? Mm-hmm. And not be held accountable, for all of these decisions that lack foresight.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just an unfortunate miss here. I think for Prime to come out and you see a bunch of coaches stand with them and say, we want to do this, and for the NCAA to do this, I'm like, fuck, this is a big miss. We've already seen a lot of noise, with the spring game being canceled. I thought this was a great solution to what some or many are calling the effects of the transfer portal and NIL, with programs canceling their spring games. Now I think with this miss, I'm like, I will say they're saying they'll explore it in the future, possibly next season, but I don't.
The problem is
not confident.
So the problem, Bailey, is they're reactionary.
Yeah, that's true.
This should have been brought up. If you got a room full of people that are experienced and actually have had skin in the game in collegiate sports, when you're talking through transfer portal NIL, if they really were knowledgeable, the people in that room, something that would have came up was, how does it impact spring football? What if a school has a mass exodus of guys that leave in the transfer portal because we have this December date? Now they don't have enough kids on the roster to have a spring game, to do a full spring practice.
Yep.
Okay, what advantage do the bigger programs have if a smaller school has a spring game with them sending somebody to observe and basically recruit? And basically, so these conversations should have came up if they got the right people in the room. But we don't know who's on the damn committee. By the way, shout out to whoever in the chat said that JB is the committee. That was funny.
Yeah, shout out to Shay. That made me laugh. Yeah, JB's not the committee, but that shit is funny. Names and receipts here. We'd like to know who's on the committee, who's making these decisions, because it makes no sense. I'd really like to know. That's a very intriguing question, Shaun. But nonetheless, I just think it's an unfortunate miss here. And now we go back to regular spring games here. Some programs are not having it, going to elect what they call more NFL style spring practice and format here. But I think unfortunate nonetheless. But shout out to Deion Sanders and Fran Brown for pushing this. Hopefully the NCAA wakes up. I don't all I could really say there. But Shaun, I got to move forward to a topic that this is an interesting topic that I got to ask you about. So obviously, Arizona wide receiver Tetroa T-Mac McMillan came out on a podcast and says he doesn't like watching film and that he watches film with his position group or prefers to watch it. Take a listen to this, Shaun, and get your reaction.
You don't watch football? At all?
At all.
Is it hard to watch film then if you don't like watching football?
Yeah.
For real? That's crazy.
I don't like watching film either. I don't ever need to watch it by myself because we go over as a receiver group.
Oh boy, Shaun, this is bad. That's bad timing for that video to come out less than a month away from the draft. Shaun, what are your thoughts on T-Mac's comments there?
I mean, was that impromptu? Did he not know? It looks like he was in the calf at U of A, and some random just walked up to him with a phone. Did he know he was getting interviewed?
Oh, I think he was definitely new here. It looks like he's on a show. This is a really bad look. And
this look like.
Ugh.
I ain't gonna say what I want to say because I don't want the connotation to be attached to him. But if we keep it 100, but I wasn't a big fan of T-Mac anyway.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I've been saying in my evaluations. By the way, the guy y'all had on today, he's absolutely right about the kid Nolan from Iowa State.
Yeah.
But I still got Matthew Golden as my top receiver. I'm telling you, T-Mac to me has one elite trait, that's catch radius. Yeah. I don't care what he ran in the 40, he don't play to that speed. He's not that fast, but he don't run great routes. He don't explode off the ball. It'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think his ceiling is Plaxico Burress.
Okay. Well, now let me ask you, Shaun. I mean, we've seen over the years as we get closer to the NFL draft, every year something comes out like this where it's not necessarily the best look for the player, but this is just a weird, bad interview, so to speak. Do you think this or will affect his draft stock at all? I already know that you have Matthew Golden as your number one wide receiver in this draft. Where do you have T-Mac's draft status, and will this interview affect it at all?
I think T-Mac is going 6 to the Raiders, or he's going to fall unless somebody trades up.
Okay. And
see, I think the Raiders are going to take T-Mac or Ashton Jennings at 6.
I like the Ashton Jennings call. I heard you talk about that this morning, and I tend to agree with you. I think, like you mentioned, Pete definitely knows the power of running back. I think the Raiders are making changes to their offensive line, and they're actually trying to have a run game for Geno Smith. Genty, plug and play there. You got a great center in Jackson Powers Johnson, who I know is moving over for the center they released there as well. So, yeah, I like Genty there. T-Mac at 6. What would make the Raiders take T-Mac at 6?
Because they don't have anything outside of Brock Bowers. They've got to go impact player offensively. And I'm just going based on size alone, I could see the Raiders going T-Mac over Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
Just because Golden is a smaller, he's not little, but I don't have his measurables right in front of me, but I think he weighed in like right at 200, like at the combine, if I'm not mistaken, like 195, 200. What was his combine weight?
You talking about T-Mac?
Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden?
From Texas.
One sec. Well, T-Mac is 6'5", 212. Matthew Golden.
He looks 6'5", 212 too.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see if I can get it for the combine. 5'11", 191.
See, so that's going to scare some teams. I mean, because Jamar Chase is what, 6'1", 6'2", about 212, 215. So, I mean, people like Jordan Addison. You know, people like Reed, the kid at Green Bay.
Yeah.
Like the Boston College kid that said Baltimore, what's his name? God, the one that been hurt at the end of the season. Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers. Yeah. They like those guys, but those guys don't generally go top 10.
Yeah, that's true.
Those guys are generally teen to 20. So just based on size alone, if T-Mac goes early, to me it'll be the 6 to the Raiders. If he doesn't go to the Raiders at 6, I think T-Mac would, the first team I could see, unless somebody trades up, would be Seattle at 18.
Yeah, that is a good team that I think could actually take T-Mac. They need a big target outside. They got rid of their biggest target, Metcalf, and now they got a bunch. You got Kupp, you got Smith and Jigba. I think you need a guy outside because you're not going to go. Everyone thinks they're going to go and draft Ibuka, who's from the state of Washington. I actually played against him in high school, yeah, the kid Nolan from Iowa State to me is a faster Smith and Jigba. More of a slot guy, real shifty. You can tell he has a high football IQ. He's just a notch faster, if not a tad smaller. Absolutely. Well, I'm waiting for a trade or something to happen because, Shaun, as you know, this is the first draft since I think Montana was traded to the Chiefs that there haven't been a first-round pick traded. So I'm waiting to see if something happens. Team moves. We'll see. We are less than a month away from the draft. Shaun, last question for you before I get you out of here, and this just came out today. The Browns owner, Jimmy D. Haslam, come out and said we took a big swing and a miss on Deshaun Watson. So now, Shaun, you're now seeing the Browns ownership come out and basically admit they made a mistake with Deshaun Watson. Now, Deshaun is still set to earn $46 million this year and next year, despite Deshaun being out for the entire 2025 season, I believe, due to his Achilles setback and that injury. Shaun, what are your thoughts on the Browns owner saying this and coming out and saying this? Alarming at all?
No, I think it's very significant.
And why do you say that?
And here's why. Normally, I don't get caught up into information that comes out of the owners' meeting. But I do mine through and evaluate all of it.
Yeah.
And to me, this is significant because, for one, people forget the negative energy that he received from his peers, meaning at the owners' meeting, they were pissed off with Jimmy and D Haslam because they gave out a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
They didn't care who it was to. Could have been to prime Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They didn't want to set the precedent that giving fully guaranteed contracts is now the norm. So the entire NFL was pissed off with Jimmy and D Haslam.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, this alerts the Brown fan base that it was myself and D is the wife, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I believe so.
It was myself and my wife that ultimately made this decision, not Brian Daboll, not the current GM. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Andrew Berry.
Andrew Berry.
I believe his name is.
So it wasn't Brian Daboll and Andrew Berry. It was myself and D. And we're acknowledging publicly that we screwed it up. So that's basically their way of apologizing to their peers for giving out the contract and then alerting the fan base, listen, get off of Daboll and Berry's back. We overruled them. We made the Deshaun Watson decision. Now we're going to get out the way. That should provide security for Daboll and Berry to do what they think is best with the second pick and moving forward. They don't have to make the decision in a vacuum for what's best right now. They can make the decision for what's best long-term, health-wise of the organization.
Absolutely. And I think this is significant as well. Now, Shaun, where does this leave the Browns with the number 2 overall pick? Does this change anything for you? Do you see them looking quarterback now that this has come out and they're saying they're essentially moving off from Deshaun Watson? Where do you see the Browns going with the number 2 overall pick now that news has come out?
Me personally, and this is under the presumption that Tennessee goes Cam Ward at 1.
Right.
If Tennessee surprises us and goes a different direction, then I take Cam Ward at 2. But if Cam Ward's going, I take Travis Hunter.
Damn.
They only have one top 25 receiver they only have one top 32 receiver, and that's Jerry Jeudy.
Yep.
And Jerry Judy's probably top 20, but the fall off to their next receiver, and I'm not a big Njoku fan. I know he can make contested catches, but his route running is atrocious, and Njoku's always hurt.
That's true.
The drop-off from Jeudy is significant. So a lot of people have Travis Hunter as their number 1 wide receiver in this group.
Yep.
So now you add an elite talented wide receiver. The Browns, they need a cornerback opposite Denzel Ward.
Yep.
So you fill both of those needs with an elite player. And I'm going to say this, and I'm saying it here on the Bailey Price Show, Bailey Price Media. Stop saying what Travis Hunter can't do.
Thank you, Shaun. Thank you.
When he left Jackson State, I heard all these pundits, all these experts, well, he's never going to be able to go to a Power 5 conference in college football and play both ways. And guess what? He did it. Yep. So listen, take your own limitations off of Travis Hunter. Let him go, and he's going to challenge himself. He's going to try and be a every down player on defense and an every down player on offense. And guess what? We're going to find out if he can do it or not, because none of us actually know.
Right. Absolutely. And wow, great take there, Shaun. And I think Travis Hunter going to Cleveland opposite Denzel Ward gives him a starting corner on defense, which would probably be his primary position, I would guess. Gives him a weapon on offense for whatever quarterback they pick. Now, Kenny Pickett, real quick, is that who do you think they'll roll with as starting quarterback, or will they go get a veteran like Kirk Cousins? What are you hearing?
So I've got this theory. For all first-round quarterbacks that are overdrafted, the best version of them is the version that comes from not fulfilling those initial expectations, getting humbled, having to sit and watch, and the next opportunity they get to start down the road. That's where I feel like you get to see the best version of them. So that's where Kenny Pickett is. He shouldn't have been a first-round pick. Pittsburgh picked him in the first round anyway. He never was going to live up the first-round expectations. When he got ready to play, he wasn't what the fan base organization thought of a first-round pick.
Right.
Got traded to Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. Backed up Jalen Hurts, got to be in a Super Bowl caliber organization under a different scheme, watching a different quarterback, got a small chance to play when Jalen got hurt. Now he goes to Cleveland with all of that experience, having been humbled, having maybe had to come to grips with his own limitations. Now he gets a chance to prove that he's starting material. Same kind of path Baker Mayfield had to take, same kind of path Sam Darnold had to take, same kind of path Geno Smith had to take. Like, even Drew Brees didn't succeed in San Diego. Like, a lot of times, like, there's a sense of entitlement that comes from being overdrafted.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't tell Zach Wilson that he shouldn't have been the third pick. He probably thought he should have been the first pick over Trevor Lawrence. Right?
Yeah.
But earth to Zach. You come on, buddy. One COVID year at BYU against no Power 5 teams. Like, come on, man. But he had to go and experience that.
Absolutely.
And fail and be humbled. Now he went to Denver. He's gotten to learn under Sean Payton. Wherever his next opportunity to start is, whatever the best version of Zach Wilson, that's what we're going to see it. So that's what Cleveland is going to see with Kenny Pickett. We'll find out, is that good enough to solve their revolving door at quarterback. I kind of tend to take a wait and see on these situations. So I'm not saying he is the answer or isn't the answer. This is the quarterback whisperer telling you these are the ingredients that go into these guys reviving themselves. I just gave you everything that I put in the blender, and then you hit blend, and then we'll see how it tastes when it finishes blending.
Damn, Shaun. There you have it. Browns fans, you got. I think you got something to be a little optimistic about with all the panic surrounding Kenny Pickett. But Shaun, man, great breakdown, great interview. I know you're a busy man, so I'll let you get out of here. But I can't thank you enough for joining. Great appearance on the JB show this morning as well. I hope you enjoy your Monday, and can't thank you enough for joining, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing, big dog.
Absolutely appreciate you. Talk to you soon, man. Shout out to Super Bowl champion Shaun King for joining the show. Shaun gave a great interview. I know he's got to pick up his kids and go take care of business, but Shaun gave a great interview there. Great takes on Deion Sanders and why he deserved the contract extension. And let me stick on that a little bit, talk about that before we get out of here. If you're guys listening, make sure you hit that like, come subscribe, become a member. If you're watching, become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army today. If you got a question, drop a super chat. I'll be sure to answer it as quick as I can. But the narrative that Deion Sanders doesn't deserve a contract extension or deserve to be up there with the top coaches in college football, I think is crazy to me. You got to be realistic. If they didn't extend Coach Prime, he's probably gone. Let's be real. If they're not, and I know Rick George and Coach Prime have a great relationship, and we've had Rick on Matt and I show and talked about that extensively. But if they don't pay Deion top dollar, he's gone. Like, you gotta be realistic about that. He absolutely deserves it. You also have to give him that money just because of who he is, what he's done to the school. I'm not a big Emmanuel Acho guy, but take a listen to Emmanuel Acho talking about just some of the numbers and Prime's impact on the financial sector, Colorado football and the University of Colorado. Take a listen to this.
Deion Sanders gave the entire world a free class in economics. Deion Sanders, I would suggest he don't move the needle. Deion Sanders is the needle. Average home ticket price is up 285%. Come on, man. They've sold out the stadium back-to-back seasons. Hadn't done that in 27 years prior to Deion Sanders. Sponsorship revenue up 40%. Admissions applications up 20%. Black applications up 50%. And admissions, as far as it pertains to acceptance, up 3.5%. Television ratings have increased by as much as 50% in certain time windows. Deion Sanders, he does not move the needle. Deion Sanders quite literally is the needle, but he gave us a simple micro.
I'm not a big Acho guy, but Acho, you speaking facts there. And, man, well said, because Prime's impact on the University of Colorado, I don't think people that are really actually talking about this, those who are throwing shade at it, saying he doesn't deserve it, I don't think they're looking at that. I don't think they're looking at the year 2022 when Colorado's 1-11, when you have Big Mac going up and giving speeches to the University of Colorado and them struggling in that aspect. Colorado is arguably the worst football program in the country. I told Shaun that. And for Prime to go and turn around the way he has been unbelievable. Just wait till this season. That's all I'll say. Just wait till this season. I really think they're going to be more improved versus last season. It's not even going to be close, and you'd be really surprised, because I think everybody thinks Colorado's about to have a massive drop-off after losing Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. And I think you're going to be really surprised. Just remember that staff over 150 years of NFL experience. And Bill Belichick's staff, same way, over 150 years of NFL experience. I think that, they're attacking college football like professional football. And I think ultimately that's what's going to prevail as well. Last topic I'm going to cover before we get out of here. This is broken by somebody who I've interviewed. Shout out to Brian Howell and breaking this story. A change is coming to Colorado Football Stadium, Folsom Field this summer as natural grass is out and they're replacing it with an artificial surface. They're going with turf. It's the first time Colorado is having turf for a long, long time. Colorado's had natural grass at Folsom Field since 1999. I think this is a pretty interesting announcement. Now, the analytics of this, and my opinion on it, I played on both turf and natural grass. As an offensive lineman, I'd prefer turf. You'd be shocked by that answer. Some might. But I prefer turf, especially when you get into those colder months. I prefer turf. It might get hard, but that's just a lineman in me. But this is an interesting development for the University of Colorado. Obviously, you see AstroTurf posting about it as well. But I think if you look at Colorado football as you got into the later months of last season when it gets cold, let's be real. Folsom Field a little beat up. The field's a little beat up when you go look at other stadiums when it gets to that part in the year. I think that was the biggest concern with it and why they ended up doing it. I think those higher ups in Colorado foresee the future of Colorado potentially playing in a college football playoff. And the field's got to be able to hold up in that cold weather in Boulder. And I think adding turf is just another thing that'll help that out. So Colorado going with turf on their field instead of natural grass, first time since 1999. Shout out to Brian Howell who broke that story. But yeah, it's interesting. I'd like to get the take of a player's thoughts on that. But that's my take on it. But man, great show on this fine Monday. And look, we're going live here on Bailey Price Media every day this week. Tomorrow we got Jeff Nadeau joining the show, so stay tuned for that. I know Nadeau's been MIA from JB's show, but he'll be live here on Bailey Price Media live tomorrow. Got a lot to break down as well. Wednesday and Thursday we'll have a special guest, and Friday is Colorado football's Pro Day at 1:30 p.m. Mountain, so we'll be live Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern as well to break down Colorado's Pro Day and see what Shiloh Sanders runs in the 40. I can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see Shador and Travis, ball out in Colorado's Pro Day on Friday. So stay tuned to that. But we are going to be live here on Bailey Price Media every day this week. Matt McChesney, for those who keep asking me, Matt McChesney's taking a break from media. That's all he's told me. So I don't have any other reasoning why. What he is posting on social media is what I know. So there's my update on that. But nonetheless, I will be live here every single day this week on Bailey Price Media Live. Don't miss tomorrow's show with the one and only Jeff Nadeau. That's going to be a great show tomorrow. But if you're watching, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, become a member. Can't thank you guys all enough for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back tomorrow, like I said, with the one and only Jeff Nadeau. Enjoy your Monday, and I appreciate you all watching. Peace.